Hi everybody, my name is Sarah, Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto Under 20. There you have it. Do you need to know anything else? How great is that? Oh, I love my food plan. Tonight, what am I having? Asparagus, sauteed baby organic spinach, and spare ribs that we finished off on the big green egg when it was filled with hickory smoke. Oh yes, so that will be delicious. And I had a first meal today, went to the Earthy Crunchy place, and I had a cream cheese omelet with a side of uncured bacon. Doesn't get any better than that. Then I came home and I took a walk in the sun and a little warm. Yeah. So it was very, very nice. So my friend, my low-carb, high-fat friend, emailed me, and she was talking about BLTs. Do you know what BLTs are? I'm sure you do. That wonderful sandwich with the great big long toothpicks with the little cinnamon cellophane frill on them, with kind of pulled apart, and maybe some sweet potato fries put on the the little inside circle. Yeah, that's what I thought when I read BLT. But she told me what it means in our world of food addiction or food unconsciousness, and that I was like, welcome to use it in a podcast. BLT, love this. Bite, lick, taste. Are any of you guilty of that? Do you do that when you're cooking? And when I said unconscious, I mean unconscious. It's kind of like nighttime eating, where you just sit in front of the TV with a bowl of, a plate of, a bag of, a box of, fill in the blank, and you just mindlessly eat as you watch your shows. What a habit. And the bite, lick, taste habit is a pretty tough one to either come to grips with and realize you have it, but then to not do it. Fortunately, way back in the 70s, when I was in my 20s, when I was going to Weight Watchers, Overeaters Anonymous, I learned about any licking of anything. And I don't know about you guys, but when I would eat raw brownie batter or Toll House cookie dough, that spoon could have 100 calories on it that I was just innocently licking. Or that spatula, or the beaters, yeah, things like that with the cake mix. I was really bad with those sort of things, and so I learned to not eat when standing up, no licking of spatulas or beaters or spoons or knives or bowl or anything, fingers, pans, plates, all of it. That all counts. And to eat, so not eating when standing up, no innocent, non-logged, tracked food, things like that. And is it hard to learn how to undo those things? Sure is. Ask any mother who feeds her kids chicken nuggets and French fries, and the kid couldn't care less. And there's 3.5 nuggets and 15 French fries left on the plate when the kid just gets so much like this that you just put them down. You're not going to force that stuff. And what do? Take it in the kitchen, and some of you eat it right then and there, cold. Others stick it in the microwave for 30 seconds, and while the kid's off doing whatever he wants to do because he's bored with food, you finish it off because you hate waste. And I do too. And so what mother doesn't know with the toddler that leftover food that goes pop into the mouth? So when Greg and I don't finish something, it goes into a little fiesta dish and is covered with stretch tight and put in the fridge for leftover night, because you never know what goodies you're going to pull out. And that's how we roll. I guess I'm an old Yankee that way. I hate waste. When I worked at the shelter, I used to hate the food that was thrown away. Oh my goodness. And they had such concepts of food. A leftover that was a day old would get thrown away. Well, it's a whole day old. And I'm sitting there thinking, honey, you haven't paid for your own food for a while, have you? That food gets saved. Sometimes I would freeze it, put it in a little glass dish. If I knew I couldn't get to it right away, I do that with soup when I've had it, 2 or 3 nights in 1 week, and I'll just freeze the rest of it for another time when perhaps we're not so, that again? Yeah. So, bite, lick, taste. Is this something that you have to add of your list of things to do, to not do anymore? Because you could be having a whole bunch of unwanted calories. And if we're talking eating somebody else's food off their plate, both those things that I mentioned, French fries and chicken nuggets, the frozen, unhealthy kind, loaded with carbs, loaded with bread coating, and all kinds of chemicals sprayed on, and not the good kinds of fat, and all that, and fillers. Ooh, no thank you. So besides having to be a habit that you need to lose, it's not even the food you're supposed to be eating if you're on a keto under 20, right? So a lot of habits get looked at once you start getting stable with your food and your tracker. Then you can look at the habits, the nighttime eating, the getting up in the middle of the nighttime eating, the eating off somebody else's plate, the grabbing and going and standing and chewing and you're not even realizing you're eating it. I have been listening to lots and lots and lots of podcasts about intermittent fasting. The pros, the cons, the raves, all sorts of parts of it. And it's all very interesting. And I don't do the OMAD, 1 meal a day, every day, but I do it 3 to 4 times a week. The rest of the time, I have a 2 meal a day. Why? Because one woman I was listening to today that runs the clinic with Dr. Jason Fung, she was saying that if your body gets used to almost the same sort of thing every single day, you could be plateauing in no time. So you got to kind of surprise your body, maybe by having a huge few meals on a Tuesday, and then fasting for 1 or 2 days, and then going back to having either a huge meal or just regular meals, but changing it up. Never letting your body think that it's going to be like this forever. So that was kind of fascinating too, and I do want to listen to more people talk about that sort of thing. Every day is different, and I admit I am kind of the same thing every day. So I am going to look at that, and on the days that I have 2 meals, I will have different things. It won't just be eggs and bacon. It'll be those rolltinis with the prosciutto and mozzarella. It could be macadamia nuts. It could be bacon wrapped in asparagus. I've been seeing quite a bit of that online. That looks pretty darn yum. So sometimes with some veggies for the first meal, and sometimes just a low carb, low to no carb, with just the eggs, an omelet or scrambled eggs and bacon type of first meal. But always heavy in the fats, because the fats are what I fuel myself with. And so anyway, be careful if somebody says, do you want a BLT, what your head thinks you're going to be getting, and what you really get is a bite, a lick, a taste. Like all of those people that you see in big box stores with their cute little setups, their little tables with their little toaster ovens and things like that. Would you like to try a scallop wrapped bacon? Would you like to try a little taco? Would you like to try this cookie? All of those things count. It's not a ha ha ha. If you eat it while you're in the store, it doesn't count. It does count, and you know that, and you've played that game long enough. So get over the silliness of slipping up, because you might end up with a metabolic syndrome that leads to prediabetes, that leads to diabetes, and you don't want to end up that way. I'm in the middle of listening to a podcast now with a doctor from Tasmania, don't you love that, who amputates 30 to 40 feet per month. He says the diabetes and the obesity and the diabetes in his, I guess it's a state, in Australia, is so bad that this is what he does. And he really wants to get to the preventative part where you sit down with them. But he's being hindered because nutritionists won't allow him to. So it's kind of like you got to send somebody to a nutritionist because they hear it early on into, you've got diabetes and you need to take care of yourself before you start losing things on your body. But they don't really hear it because they're given this food plan or calorie range that they have to follow, and they have no clue because they haven't eaten correctly for themselves to keep away from this diabetic stage all their lives. They've eaten garbage, and so they don't know how to handle it. And so then a little ways down, they've done the silliness of going to the stores and having little nibbles at the end of each aisle and laughing off all of that sort of stuff. And then they learn they have to lose a foot. It's horrible. It's devastating. So, and know that this could happen to you. It could happen to all of us with the standard American diet. These people are adopting our ways of eating, this atrocious way of eating, which is why they're getting into the trouble they're getting into. So I'm so glad that I have no grains, no sugars, and no fruit in my food plan. How about yours? Are you keto under 20? I hope so. It rocks. It does. My sleep is one of the biggest side benefits I've ever seen. I love it. Have a wonderful day, my little pickles. This has been Sarah. Pearls of Wisdom and Food with Keto Under 20. I will not be having the BLT club in the restaurant. Not today. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.